All right, welcome to Action 2 of the Individual Player Development Plan. This is all about player projection. So what we're going to do now is there's going to be a two-part to this action. You're going to evaluate your current level, which you're going to see in a moment, and then you're going to project your future level. And you can do this with your coach, you can do this with your mom and dad, but again, it's about being realistic with yourself, and you're going to see how in a moment. Okay, so there's two sets of diagrams you're going to get. And here's the first one. This is based on your current level. So you see we have a 0.5 all the way down to 5. And we'll break down each one for you. So 0.5 is below academy level, which means you're not in the starting 11 for your top team at your age group, right, at your club. 1 would be the academy level. You're in and out of the starting 11 for your top team at your age group, at your club. 1.5 would be an academy standout, which means you're probably a starter at your top group, but an inconsistent performer against top competition. 2 would be the regional level. This would be a top player in their age bracket, but when you play against teams that are best in the nation, you get exposed and you don't perform as well. 2.5 would be pretty much a national team depth chart, which means you're one of the best players in their position nationally, probably like top 25. You're very decisive at an academy level. You can compete very strongly at a regional level, but you're still not at the top. You're not ready for the national team quite yet. Okay. 3 is national team level. This would be essentially top 2 players in their position from a national standpoint. So in the United States, you're top 2 in the position. So if you play center mid, you're top 2. You can impact on the international level. So when you go for national team events, you impact on an international level. 3.5 is a national team standout. This is a key player for national team selection. You make a big impact at the international level, but when we're playing against the best teams, say like the Brazils, the Spains, for example, the weaknesses show, and you're not able to compete at that level yet. 4.5 is an international standout. What this means is you're best in position among international competition. You're a decisive player even against the best, right? So you're pretty much a professional player at this point. 5 is a world-class player. This essentially means you're a Champions League level performer. You're one of the best in the world. Now, this is just an idea for you. Just as a heads up, you cannot really be identified for national team until U14. Some players, if they're 13, can be identified. It just depends on their level, of course. But just from, for example, if you're doing this and you're U12 or you're 12 years old, you won't be able to go past really a regional level, okay? But again, be honest with yourself. Really break down where you're at, right? And you might already be a national team level player. I don't. It just depends on where you really are performing. And don't take it from an ego standpoint. Break it down and really think about where you're at. Give yourself a score. And for reassurance purposes, go ahead and ask your coach, right? Go up to him and be like, Coach, I want to show you this. Where do you think I'm at? And then break it down with him. And that way you can have that process in place. Okay. Once you do that, you're obviously going to do the player projection part. Following the same circumstance, you're going to break down where you think you can actually reach. And you need to be honest with yourself. Where do you think you're capable of reaching? And it might be that you're capable of reaching a world-class level of performance. But the whole point of this is to really think about where you can go. Because at the end of the day, if you're not honest with yourself, you're just going to hurt yourself at the end. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be a pro player, because you can be a pro player and be at a 2.5, a national team depth chart. For example, there's plenty of players in the MLS that play professionally, but they're not ready for the national team. And it just kind of depends on where you're at in this process. If you're still an academy player, if you're in college now, if you're trying to break into the pro level, there's a whole bunch of circumstances that can play, and it just depends. So this is just a scenario for you to try and break out. But again, it's a projection element. Now, I will tell you, projection is the hardest thing to do about a player. And people will get this wrong. You might get this wrong for yourself. So what that means is you might project, your coach might project, hey, you can only make a level 3. But you prove him wrong and you go hit 4.5. Happens. It's part of the process. So just understand, because somebody, maybe you rank yourself, right? Prove yourself or the individuals that you're working with wrong and show them that you're better than that. Okay? And that's pretty much it for action 2 of this process. Get it done, take time to reflect on it, maybe take a night to think about it, and then let's move forward. So I'll see you in the next video.